Hi, I'm Hannah. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Hannah. I am a knitter and a mom and a children's knitwear designer. I live in North Carolina with my husband and our son, Ollie. And yeah, I just share about, what I'm knitting, what I'm up to. In terms of the knitting world, I have a regular project update video. So sometimes I share, like last week I shared about yarn shops in my area. This week I am giving you updates on all the projects that I have been working on, which I have 4 finished objects, which is a lot for me. The last project update video I didn't have any finished objects to share, so I'm excited to share those with you today. It is getting warmer here. I felt like our summer got off to a slow start. Usually it's hot from the minute it's like April 15th, it's like super hot here. But we've had a lot of cool and rainy days, and so it's finally hitting like 80s, 90s Fahrenheit, and so now it feels like it's summer. We went to the pool today, got pool hair going on. We're probably gonna go a lot more times. We have swim lessons next week. We've been berry picking. Oh yes, we went berry picking yesterday, which means it's like officially summer. The berries were later. The blueberries and the blackberries have been a little later this year because of the weather, and so yeah, it was very fun. I'll put some pictures here. Basically, my son loves fruit. That's like his favorite food. He would eat it all the time, especially blackberries, but only from the bush, not from the store, which I understand. They're way better when you just pick them. So for like 2 months, we go like every week or every other week and just pick them and eat them because they're just so good. So we have quite a few. Today he got a whole bowl of blueberries and blackberries, and he ate the blackberries, and then he said he didn't want the blueberries. So now I know next time we just need a lot more blackberries. Anyway, that was just unrelated. Anyway, for finished objects, the first one is what I'm wearing. Okay, this feels like a real triumph for me because I've had some misses lately with my knitting, and this is my Intarsia top. I knit it with Hailey of knitweekend, and this is by Anna Husemann. I'm so sorry if I didn't get that correct. This is, I'll stand up so you can see. This is an Intarsia top, and it's different on the front and the back. And so you can wear it like both ways. So the shaping is the same, but the panels are like a little bit different. So we both modified it to have like a garter strap versus like more of a I-cord or double knit kind of strap that was very thin. And so this is nice garter strap here, super easy to modify. Hailey has the notes on her Ravelry page. I sort of loosely followed them / was like, oh, that looks good. I also did a tubular cast on for the ribbing because I just like that look versus a regular cast on. So those were my 2 modifications. Otherwise, I knit it exactly to pattern. I would say it's pretty cropped. Like I knit the size 1 with the recommended ease, and then I didn't modify the length. And so yeah, if you're someone who has maybe a longer torso or it's just a taller person, you might recommend adding length, and you can just add it right at the bottom. She talks about how to add and remove length in the pattern. So anyway, this feels like a triumph because 1, it fits, 2, I'm wearing it, 3, it was Intarsia, which is my first time, and 4, it was my first time seaming a garment. So the last 2 were goals for this year for me, was learning a new technique in Intarsia, and then also doing a seamed garment. So this was really easy because I just had to seam these sides right here, and yeah, I just used like a mattress stitch, and yeah, it was way easier. I don't know why I like I put it off. I think it's because it's not as transportable when you're working on a project, like to have all the different pieces going for like a seamed project, and that's really the motivator for me, is because like with having my son, and then my knitting time is like very, like, oh, we're at a stoplight and my husband's driving, I'm gonna knit some, or that kind of thing. And so yeah, for me it needs to be portable, but this was definitely like a gateway into more seamed projects, and maybe even more Intarsia. I think this was not the best choice for like a first, well, I would say it's not the best choice for a first time Intarsia project, because at one point, like Hailey and I were talking, we were up to like 9 bobbins to keep separate. And so basically my strategy was like, knit a few rows, let them get really tangled, untangle them, start over, get really tangled, untangled, start over. But now I feel like I can conquer anything. So I see like a 3-color Intarsia and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I could do that. And so yeah, I think I've seen like the Moon Crush tank. I saw JP Knits Things is teasing an Intarsia top. So I kind of think maybe it's coming more into, I don't know. I would say it's like on trend because I see it all the time. So I think it's definitely on trend, but I feel like more knitwear designers are starting to jump on that. So I'm excited because it was actually really fun to see how it comes together, and the seaming worked out great. So yeah, all good from this project. I enjoyed it. It was a challenge and I kind of liked that. I haven't tried a new technique in a long time. So yeah, thumbs up. I'm really happy. My summer knits just never fit me. I don't know what it is, but they just never quite turn out how I want. And so yeah, I'm really happy with this. I use this green is Sandnes Garn Line, and the yellow is also Sandnes Garn Line. And then the purple and the white are Linen Quill held together. And then this pink right here is Drops Belle. So another goal of mine was to clear out all of my summer like DK weight yarns, because as I said, I don't really knit a lot of summer tops because they just never go over that well for me. And so I just wanted to knit through that yarn, and I got through a lot of it. So that was exciting. But now I really like it. It is what it is. Okay, my next finished object, I'll talk about another win that I had, is this dumpling bag. So this is for the Purl Soho knit along. I've talked about it before in a previous video. They very kindly reached out and said, do you want some yarn for a knit along and what color? And so they sent me 2 different skeins. This is natural flax, and then I have one in white that's called Queen Anne's lace, and I'm going to knit that for a friend. So I knit this up very quickly while I was avoiding working on this, I think. I did the provisional cast on, and then I did a Kitchener stitch to graft it. And I'm actually really happy with how it looks. Besides it being like folded, I really would say you can't tell that I grafted it, which is always a win. And then I honestly can't tell which side I grafted the straps together on. Oh, maybe that side? I don't know. I was surprised because when I work with plant fibers over wool, I tend to like row out a lot, and this one didn't turn out bad at all. So I was really excited. I knit it pretty quickly, and I will have to say I had never used 100% linen before. So when I got the yarn, I was like, oh, this feels a little bit like, okay, it's not twine, right? But like it feels a little bit like, you know, something you make like a friendship bracelet out of when you're at summer camp. And I feel really bad saying that because it makes me, I feel like I'm like uncultured because that was my first thought or something, but I like don't know the fancy ways of linen or like nice yarns, I guess. But so I was a little concerned when I felt it, but then I started knitting it and I was like, oh my gosh, it knits into like this soft, like drapey, well, soft compared to like what it felt like at first. This like nice, just like fabric, and I want like a whole, like in a tank top. I just like want a bunch more of this. The pattern is by Jeannie Lee. She actually has a lot of free patterns on her Instagram, and not necessarily patterns, but more like recipes for how to make things that fit you well. So overall, this was really positive experience as well. Yeah, I was concerned at first when I felt the yarn. So if you are someone who like is not a big fan of, I don't know, it's just like maybe a little bit rougher, but sometimes my hands get dry like where the yarn rests, and it got a little dry at first, but it was fine. So yeah, maybe if you have more sensitive hands, I don't know, it might not be for you, but yeah, it turned out, I'm really happy with it. I took it this last weekend for a spin, and it fits a lot of stuff. I put all my stuff in it, and my son wanted to carry it around, which was totally cute and adorable. I ended up having a little bit left, like the ball is like this. I should weigh it, but it's like a ball like this big. And I'm not sure what happened. I didn't have a measuring tape with me while I was making this, and so I just went by the row. Like I just counted the rows in the pattern because it gave the length and the rows, which I can always appreciate. And so I just assumed, okay, my gauge is on, and so I'm going to just knit it to the rows. So I don't know if that's why I ran out of yarn, because, or not ran out of yarn, why I have so much extra, but I realized I didn't swatch. So there was no reason for me to think my gauge was correct because I didn't swatch, which is fine because it's a bag. So it's either gonna be a little smaller or a little bigger or whatever. But yeah, so I was thinking I could make like a miniature one for Ollie, like very small, like maybe like 2 or 3 inches across, but I think he would really love that. So yeah, stay tuned if I actually remember to do that. But I gotta make the second one, which this didn't take me long at all, so I'm hoping that one won't either. But yeah, I really like it, really happy. My third finished object is also a bag. I don't have it with me though. I knit the Purl pouch by Tori Knits in NYC, Tori Yu. Yeah, I had my eye on it for a long time. It's also a stash buster, or a excess yarn buster. And I have been all about those lately. And so, yeah, I wanted to make it for a long time. I finally decided, okay, this is it. I'm gonna make one because I wanted to make one for my mom's birthday to gift to her. And yeah, I did. I ended up knitting it in like less than 24 hours because yeah, I was like avoiding my other knitting problems. and also it was just so much fun to knit. Like it had some new to me, it's not really new to me techniques, but just the construction was really unique. And so it was like fun enough to where it kept my attention, but it wasn't like hurting my brain. And that's the kind of project that I really needed. So I definitely recommend if you're like in a knitting rut or you just need to put aside a giant project and cast on a small project, I definitely recommend this one. I absolutely love knitting it. I used recommended yarn. I used Linen Quill in Lychee Pink, which is what one of her bags is shown in the pattern. And then I used another Linen Quill, I think Heirloom White. So both out of my stash and out of my yarn pantry. And unfortunately, like I still have a lot of yarn left. I could have made another one. Maybe I will, but I was just trying to go through some colors that I had like a little bit left of. Anyway, so I made the smallest size and it was very adorable. I'll put some pictures up. I already gave it to my mom a little bit early because yeah, we went to the pool today and I brought her coffee and yeah, just spent some time together. And so to make it extra special, I included her bag, even though her birthday's tomorrow, because we just love celebrating as much as you can. And so I thought we'll kick it off early, and yeah, it was fun. So I think she liked it, but I think my nephew liked it more. He really liked it. She was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it away, because I think he would have like brought it to the pool with us, and she would have seen it again. So I did the picot option to make the edge like maybe a little more cutesy or feminine or whatever. But I kind of think like everyone needs one. And instead of using an I-cord for the drawstrings, I have some big cones of Echoview Fiber Mill, like their cording. And so I just used some of that, and that saved so much time. So that is probably why it didn't take me very long to make it, because I didn't have to make like 24 inches of I-cord by hand. But you can use whatever, like she says, you can use string or rope, or I used the cording stuff. So that was another win that I was really happy with, and it took like no time. And we were also sick at home, and so that might have been why it didn't take very long, because we weren't going out, and you know, whatever, my husband was home as well. Okay, now, oh, this is funny. I actually have another project by Tori Yu that I just finished. So I talked about how this is my only test knit that I have done so far this year. And this is it. This is my Queen's Cami by Tori Yu of Tori Knits NYC. So this is, you can see the crease because I had it folded. This is one that has felt like less of a win, and it's not on the pattern, it's on me. Oh, it feels so soft though. Oh my goodness. I talked in a previous video, I knit up the top in the wrong size needle. I don't know what happened, but from like here up, I had to frog and then reknit. And so that was a bummer. And then I think somewhere in there when I switched needle sizes and I finished the rest of it, something happened and I'm not sure. I made a mistake somewhere, or yeah, I must have, because I talked to Tori about it and I talked to my sister who's also test knitting, and it's not how it's like intended to be. So somewhere I messed up and this length is too short. So it's supposed to be like a whole inch higher. So when I try it on, it's very, very like tight in my underarm, and I don't love that fit. And again, like I think I missed, the back is supposed to be significantly higher. You can see how mine's just like, I don't know, maybe a half an inch higher, and on my sister's it's like a lot higher. So I think that maybe, yeah, I just like misread some stuff in the pattern. Yeah, because it's not an issue with the pattern. Please don't think that. Tori's patterns are amazing and straightforward, and she has great tutorials. She's wonderful. She was so kind when I said I think I did something wrong. So again, it's not on her. When this comes out, everyone should get it, because Abby's, if she lets me out, I'll post a picture of how good it looks on her, because it's just incredible. And I need one because I have that same yarn. I need to make one in that yarn. Anyway, yes, it's coming out soon, I think end of June, so highly recommend. It has this just like fun swingy look. I did modify it to have a picot edge, but that's super, super easy. So yeah, she has you do like a purl ridge. Instead of a purl ridge, I did a picot, so super easy. I think what I'm gonna do, because I'm committed to this, I want to fix it. I want to love it as much as my sister loves hers. I am going to three needle bind off. Thankfully it's just a 3 needle bind off, because if it was a graft, I would probably have a harder time taking it out. But I will just 3 needle bind off that. I'll probably add another inch, and then yeah, I probably won't reblock it because it's not gonna be that noticeable. But yeah, I really want to wear it. I think it will go great with this shirt, which is my staple shirt for the whole summer. I always have on, and yeah, I want this to work, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go back and fix it. Not yet. All that to say, it was a me problem. I think I was just too excited and I just started, and yeah. Anyway, I will fix it. Maybe I'll have it next week as another finished object. Okay, works in progress. I know you guys have been following along with my journey of knitting the smallest and most intricate and most adorable animals of all time from this book. This is a sample knit that I'm working on for a yarn shop, and wow, they are just so cute. I am gonna wait until the very end, I think, to like wet block them, stuff them, all that, because I kind of want to have like a big transformation moment, because they're like, this is cute, but putting them all together at the same time, they're gonna be so cute. So this is the body of Mouche, the main character. He's got his little tail going on. Is that focusing? Okay, yeah. And so he needs a good bath. He needs some little eyes. And then he needs to get stuffed. And then I will wash his little overalls, attach his buttons, and then put those on him. So wow, they are so cute. Sorry about the lighting. I forgot to turn my light on. Wow. Ollie was playing with my light the other day. We were taking videos to send to our family, and it was really cute. But he had it really bright, and then he was like, too bright. It was very adorable. Okay, Let me see if that's better. I'm filming this like in the evening, and so the lighting is a little different than I'm used to, so hope this is okay. Anyway, yes, absolutely adorable overalls. I think this is like a 2x1 broken rib, and I kind of want it for like everything now for myself. Like shorts, that's so cute. There's like a little hole for its tail. Adorable. Okay, so I've got those done. And then the one I'm working on now is the cute little sheep. So her, right there. And this one, I had a little trouble visioning the bear while I was knitting him, but this one I can definitely tell who she is. Like, this is the sheep, you can tell. Even with my little eye and ear markers, she looks like the sheep head that she is. So she's a little cutie. I think next I am doing like the ears and then working on the body. So she's a cute little lady. I'm making both her dress and her fluffy vest. So that's gonna be super cute, and also something new because I've never done that kind of technique to make the little fluffy parts of the vest. So I'll show you those right here without getting the instructions. So I'm gonna make her dress and then also this little fluffy vest. So yeah, that will be fun. And then I will have one left after that. I'm trying to remember who I'm making. Oh, is it the pig? No, not the pig. Not the duck, because I want to make the duck. Oh, what's this at the end? The spring party? Spring is here, and the bear has woken up from his long, deep sleep. This is one of the most joyous moments in the year, when all his friends come to celebrate being all together once again. As usual, Hazel arrives first. Wow, that is so fun. Oh my gosh, they are all celebrating spring's coming. This is too fun. It's a little garden party. I did not see this. Ah, precious. Okay. All right, well, it just keeps getting cuter and cuter. Okay, I brought back one of my works in progress that was hibernating because I bound off a lot of projects, as you saw, and to avoid just casting on every single new pattern that came out this week, I picked up an old thing that I was working on. So this is the first cardigan by Hive Knits, and I'm working on my second sleeve. It's in half fisherman's ribs, so it's taking some time. But I am about, gosh, what is this? This is probably, I'm probably about a third of the way done with the half fisherman's rib portion, and then I'll have the ribbing, which takes like no time after knitting this. So yeah, it will be done by the fall. I'm using Purl Soho good wool in walking stick brown and Knitting for Olive mohair, soft silk mohair in Hazel. So yes, this was in my yarn pantry and I wanted to use it. I had this in there as well. I think this is all I have of both, so I'm hoping this will take me to the end, but I'm not sure that it will. I don't know what I'm gonna do. If it doesn't, probably frog the other arm and then take some out, but anyway, or just take it out of the ribbing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, if you are a new follower, you may not have seen it. I started working on this in the spring, I think. And then when summer hit, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put that away for a while. But I have the button band done. I have the ends woven in. Oh, my good scissors. Oh, my good tapestry needle. Okay, I'm finding all kinds of good stuff in here. Anyway, yeah, so this was hibernating. I'll probably put it back away when I figure out what to cast on next after I finish my little animal sample knit. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I want more winter basics, as I'm wearing this not basic shirt. But yeah, I think I want more like winter wardrobe staples. Needles I've been missing. And this will be one of them. Especially as a cardigan, I feel like I wear this a lot more frequently than a pullover sweater because I'm more comfortable taking them on and off throughout the day versus a pullover sweater feels more like a statement, which I'm all about. but I wanted something that I would just get more wear out of. And so that was the goal behind this sweater. The pattern's amazing. So much information, so definitely recommend for a first sweater. The pullover version maybe. Cardigans tend to take a little bit longer because there's a lot of purling, but I don't remember it being like cumbersome. So anyway, what else do I have? Oh, I have a new tiny mohair. Okay, if I run out, I have this much left. That's not gonna help me. But anyway, I have a new design on my needles. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. It's a winter design though. I have one summer design coming out soon in the end of June. That's when it is. I'll put a picture up, but my test knitters are almost done. I'm getting all the feedback in and the pictures in and all of that, and kind of finalizing the pattern. So I am pretty excited about that one. I feel like this one is a little bit different than my other patterns. It is a lot more intricate, which I know can be a hard sell for people who knit for small children because the time investment is higher. It's fingering weight and it's cabled at the top, and so I know that's a harder sell, but I really believe in it, and I really think that if you want to, you should knit for your kids. Knit the fingering weight. I use Echoview Fiber Mill for my son's. He wore it as a slipover because I finished it around Easter, so he wore it as like a little slipover, and he hasn't worn it since because I've been keeping it to take pictures. But after that, that's all it is. Anyway, yeah, I feel uncomfortable talking about my own pattern. My cheeks are turning red. But yeah, I just really like this one, and I've just been so floored by my test knitters, just like resilience. This pattern actually didn't have a lot of like issues after I went into testing, which is always a win, but a lot of them were trying new techniques for the first time, and just being open to doing that in a test and asking for help. And yeah, and their pictures are just adorable. So yes, it's called the Sunny Day Tee. It's kind of like my rainy day sweater, and now the Sunny Day Tee, because the rainy day sweater was for like spring, Sunny Day Tee is for summer. Kind of like going along with my son, he loves to check the weather, so he'll say, oh, rainy day or sunny day. Sunny days are his favorite. So yeah, I didn't really describe that super well, but it's coming out in a couple of weeks. But this is a winter design because I want to give my test knitters an adequate amount of time to test knit. And so without further ado, this is what I'm working on. Oh, got my sheep caught up in there. Okay, it doesn't look like much. Okay, there we go. Yes, this is unnamed so far. Winter day sweater, snowy day sweater. No, it doesn't really give off those vibes. But yes, this is colors that Ollie is very excited about. The other day I was knitting and he said, what are you knitting, Mommy? And I said, I'm knitting a bag for Grandma. And he said, you make a sweater? Or like, you knit a sweater? And I said, yeah, buddy, I'll knit you a sweater. And so we went and looked at yarn, and that's when I cast this on. Because, yeah, I've been showing him every day, like, the progress that I've made. And, yeah, he likes the green and the stripes. He likes stripes a lot, so. Yeah, all my designs are, like, inspired by him. I'm using US 8, which is a 5mm needle. And I'm holding together 2 strands of, yet again, Purl Soho good wool, because, yeah, I'm like I said, going through my yarn pantry and just finding yarn I already have that I can make work. And yeah, it's going really fast. This is only like, I don't know, a couple of days, maybe 2, 3, 4 days of knitting it up. And then, yeah, I'll need to grade it and put it in a good format. And then I have my tech editor booked. And so I'll probably do the test call at the end of July, so that I can give a good amount of time for test knitters. But The good news is, because it's on such big needles and the yardage will be a lot lower, it's knitting up sort of like an 18 stitch for like 4 inches or 10 centimeters. So I think that's like maybe above worsted. Not totally sure. But anyway, all that, the gauge is 18 stitches. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm hoping to add a lot of information about how you can also find yarn in your yarn pantry that works for you and hold it together. So some people like to do the Mohair and Sport. This is 2 sports held together. So 2 sports, or you could just use a worsted, or you could use like a DK and a lace, or whatever. The idea is to use the yarn that's in your pantry. At least that was my idea, because I did not buy new yarn for this design. I just wanted to use some yarn I already have. And so yeah, plus with stripes, you can make all these stripes a different color and just let your child choose all of them, and maybe you pick the main color and just go from there. So anyway, just make it fit to their little personality. But I'm super excited. We're taking a trip later in the fall, and I think that this will be the sweater Ollie brings on the trip, because stripes are so in, and I want one. I think I'm gonna make myself one. I might grade it up to fit myself. Maybe I'll do white with the green for mine. Yeah, that would be really fun. As you can see, I'm really excited about this one. I think it's gonna be a good fit. I hope that he really likes it. And when I call for testers, if you sign up for my newsletter, that's where my test calls go first, and they've been filling up pretty fast with my newsletter friends. And so yeah, if you really like this one a lot, then you should sign up for that. I kind of stopped because I ran out of the green, and I have a whole extra one in my yarn closet downstairs, but I just need to wind it. Like, I have a lot of yarn that I have this bad habit of like not buying enough yarn for my projects. So then when I think about it, I like overcompensate. So I had a whole extra and a half when I made my Cardigan sweater, when I used this green as the main color. So I had a lot of it. So it will definitely be enough. But anyway, I need to wind that and then get back on this, because I'm really excited. It'll have a double folded neckband, because I kind of love those. But I haven't decided if it should be white or green. I was thinking it would just be green, but now I'm like, maybe white would be cute. Add some more color. Being a kid is fun. Have all the color you'd like. I don't know. But yeah, I'm also thinking like this would be nice to have a cardigan version as well. But yes, I'm really happy. I like this one a lot. So that is all I have for my works in progress. For yarn acquisitions, I don't have any with me right now, but I did buy some yarn this year for myself. I bought some yarn from a yarn shop. That was the inspiration for my video last week, was a yarn shop in North Carolina that I had previously visited in the mountains. They are closing their doors, and so they had a big closing sale to get rid of a lot of their stock. They have everything still. It's 45% off, so I will put the link to the shop. It's called Ya something yarn shop. I don't know. Anyway, it's a very cute, funny yarn shop in Mars Hill, North Carolina. And yeah, really sad. When we visited, they had a wonderful just like community event, like a knitting night, and everyone was so kind. And so yeah, it made me really sad. So I made the video about local yarn shops. I don't know, put out there how grateful I am for ours. I know not everyone has that experience of, you know, super kind people, helpful, non-judgmental about your skill or your price range. And I've really found that here. And I felt like this was another one. So yes, if you're looking for some 45% off yarn, they have a lot of Cascade, Amano, just things like that. I bought myself a sweater's quantity of Cascade 220 in black and a sweater's quantity of black, I believe it's Lang Surrey Fine. So it's like fingering weight Surrey, also in black, to hold together. I don't know what I'm gonna make yet with it, but it's basically like an Aran weight sweater's quantity of black. So I have a sweater in my closet that I was ready to wear, and it's one of my absolute favorites. And it's like 5 or 6 years old, and so I kind of want to make a handmade version of that. So I think it's gonna be like oversized and really cozy and warm. I'm already looking forward to when I get it because it's for my birthday. So my mom actually bought it, but I shipped it to my house so I could look at it. And then I gave it to her, and it's waiting for the fall, for October, for my birthday, and then I will cast on a new sweater. Yeah, I don't have any acquisitions other than that. This is a long video, probably the longest one I've ever made, so thanks for watching if you're still here. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and leave me a comment to tell me, you know, what you're working on or what's been inspiring you lately to knit. So I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week.